Good morning, traders. It's Carlo from Blueberry with the week ahead. It is Monday, the 17th of August. Markets have been pretty subdued on the open this morning. Where are we right now, and what is likely to be top of mind for traders this week? I have a chart of the S&P 500 in front of me. The US dollar has been the main driver of markets over the last few weeks. We have seen slight weakness in US employment growth as well as inflation. And that has helped support equities, and has pushed the US dollar lower. And we've seen other products such as gold and other currencies increase against the USD. I want to show these charts as quickly. S&P 500 very close to all-time highs, trading at 7,800. We have the oil price steady around that $82 mark in West Texas. And we've got dollar yen trading at 159.20. Will there be further intervention this week, especially with the US dollar being softer based on fundamentals over the last week or so? Is this the right time, a good opportunity for the Bank of Japan as well as the Fed to assist them and the ECB to come in and smack that dollar yen lower back down to that 155 level? These are questions that are likely to be answered this week. Let's now take a look at the macro data in the week ahead. As always, the US-Iranian conflict continues, and that will be front of mind for traders and its potential impacts on oil prices. On Monday, we have Chinese industrial production and Canadian CPI data. Closely watched, certainly by Forex traders, which will likely impact the Canadian dollar. On Tuesday, in fact, Tuesday and Wednesday, there's plenty of UK data. Tuesday, starting off with the employment data in the UK. Expectations are for an increase of jobs about 200,000 in the UK, and that will likely impact the FTSE 100 index as well as the pound sterling across all currencies. Later on Tuesday evening, the closely watched German ZU economic sentiment index is expected to push higher to 28.5, impacting most likely the German 40 or the DAX as well as the Euro. Wednesday, back to the UK CPI data. Now, CPI in UK consensus around 2.5%. We know the Bank of England has been on hold, so a reading like this is unlikely to move their dial. Of course, if the number comes out outside of expectations, it potentially will. On Thursday, the big one for Australia in this part of the world is the employment data. We did see a very healthy 76,000 new jobs added for the month of June. For July, expectations are only 15,000 new jobs to be added. And what is crucial about the Australian employment data is we need to focus on the full-time component. So last month, the full-time component was up about 30,000 new jobs. There's no forecast for what that component will be this time around, but the markets will focus heavily on that and will likely impact the Aussie 200 share market index as well as the Australian dollar, which is one of the most traded currencies globally. Friday, we do have a lot of PMI data out on Friday, but first of all, on Friday, we do have the crucial Japanese CPI. Now, CPI is pushing ever so slightly in Japan, forecasts around 1.8%, a slight increase. And we know the Bank of Japan has been making noises about further rate rises possible this year. So keep your eye on that and the likely impacts on the yen as well as the Nikkei 225 share market index. Later on Friday, UK retail sales. So it's a big week for UK data. And as mentioned, later part of Friday, we do have PMI data in Germany, UK and the US. And if consensus is correct, then the PMI data is expected to stay at healthy levels above that 50 expansionary level. And rounding off the week, we do have the reporting season for a majority of Australian companies. Now, most Australian companies will release their full year results and outlooks, and in particular dividends in the month of August. And a lot of the dividends will go ex-dividend in August and also September. And it's quite an opportune time for traders who like to capture dividends and also share price movement. So there'll be a lot of interest in these big Australian mining companies and the big Australian banks, the four majors, including Macquarie Bank. So that rounds off the week. It's going to be quite a busy week in terms of data and reporting season. Good luck with your trading, and I'll see you next time.